Hi everyone, welcome to All the Brass, designed to endure, styled to welcome. I'm Tara,
I'm Lamar.
and today we're coming to you on a slightly overcast afternoon. However, it's just finished raining and we have some work that we have to get done. So today we're going to do just that. So I'm standing in the front of the house today where we have started working on our spring beds probably about 3 weeks ago. As you can see, we have some ligustrum lollipop trees that we're working on in the planters with some Supertunia Vista bubblegum. We're loving that variety, but as we've said before, sometimes it's all about what's going to work for your garden and what may not work for your garden. Today, we're addressing the things that are not working in the garden. So we tried a couple of different varieties of petunias and flowers, dianthus, a few dahlias, and in this front of the bed, we do have a mix of high intense sun and also some cooler shade. Not really like too much indirect shade, like indirect dappled sunlight. And so plants can be a little bit finicky. We also have irrigation in this front bed, and it does kind of set back a bit closer to the foundation of the house so that it overcasts over the lawn. Sometimes we run into issues where flowers just don't want that overhead sprinkling of water. So what we do know is Supertunia bubblegum is doing excellent in the conditions in the front of the house. So as you can see right here, Supertunia Vista bubblegum, it is a proven winner's variety. It is a beautiful shade of pink, not too bright and not too pale, but right in between. This is a mounding trailing plant, and as you can see, even in the container, it has already started that trailing habit of growth, and it will grow, my friends. When I tell you, this can get anywhere to 24 inches in height and up to 32 inches wide. So it makes an excellent flower for your containers. But for this summer, because we know it can take the heat and it can take the indirect sun or the afternoon shade, we are going to attempt to put it in our flower beds. So walk with me. So these are the flowers we will be transplanting today. We're going to pull these out. We'll probably put them in the back in a container. But we have Unanimous Manhattan evergreen shrub. This is a beast and it grows vigorously. So we do keep it trimmed down to make kind of a hedge format. We also have some hydrangea. We have some little limelights here. And this is a prime panicle hydrangea. And so it is enjoying loving the sun. Now we're in Virginia, zone 7B. So they have not started blooming yet. They are still establishing a lot of leaf growth. As we get closer to the end of May and early June, we should start seeing, actually, it might be even closer to mid-June, depending on the sun, we will start seeing some blooms on our hydrangeas. But if you can imagine the Supertunia Vista bubblegum in a nice mound in front of all of this luscious green, I think it's going to be stunning. So let's get to it. quick check-in. We went ahead and we finished deadheading our dahlias to the best of my ability because I'm still experimenting with dahlias, but we're going to see how we do. We've also went ahead and we took out some of the flowers that were not doing well, including the dianthus. And right now they are resting well in a bucket off to the side because they are probably going to end up in containers. And we're probably going to have a beautiful pink explosion to continue from the garden bed all the way to the front porch. But what we did do is we amended the soil to add a little bit more organic matter. We went with a garden soil because we felt that what we had in the bed was too much of a clay and soil conditioner mix. And although there was organic matter, we felt like we needed a little bit looser, more conditioned soil, so that way it will help us with drainage. And we have added all of our beautiful proven winners Supertunia Vista bubblegum. I am obsessed, everybody. Interesting enough, fun fact, Lamar chose the color theme for this summer.
That was me.
And I think it was an amazing choice. We are typically not your pink gardener. However, we are embracing it. So if you have not guessed, if you weren't able to tell, pink is the color of summer 2025 here at Alderbrass. So it has rained. So there's but so much we can do today. We thought it was a great time to get these pups into the ground, and it's going to rain some more. So I'm not even going to water them in. Typically I would, but we're expecting Mother Nature to help us out with that and give it a nice gentle soaking. Once it dries off a little bit, we're going to continue this project because as you can see, our unanimous Manhattan are growing like wildfire. And when they're wet, they're not really the best cutting. And we want clean cuts. We want this to look, while natural, maintained and neat. So we will be cutting back all of this new growth, and it is beautiful, but it is competing with our hydrangea. So
Yeah,
between,
it's really blending in.
yeah, you can't even really see like
Yeah.
where one begins and one stops.
Yeah, so there should be a little bit of definition there. When the
Yep.
hydrangeas start to bloom, we'll be able to see some differentiation there.
Yes.
But until that happens, we want to make sure that it's clean
And
and
while we
defined.
love our Manhattan, I'm a Manhattan girl, so I love this shrub and it is well performing. They are not the stars of the show. They are the supporting actors and actresses. So they need to stay in their role. And we want our hydrangeas to shine, and we want our thrillers down at the bottom, which are our Supertunia Vista bubblegum petunias. Those are the stars of the show. We also have some beautiful big leaf hydrangeas up at the top with a beautiful pink color. I'm also trying a serrata hydrangea for the first time. That's tough stuff. It's tucked back there. And so we're going to be working on all that. I mean, including bringing out the pillows, everything. Again, because we are also styled to welcome. So the garden is going to have some supporting features, and it's just going to take your eye all the way to the front door welcoming you in. And we are here on a beautiful Saturday sunny morning. What a difference a day makes. So yesterday we had a lot of rain, and then we had a lot of overcast, and we went ahead and we took advantage of those conditions to swap out our garden bed, but we still have a little bit of work to do. So for today's segment, we are in the front of the house, in the patio front garden bed area, and we planted yesterday our Supertunia Vistas, which is the bubblegum variety, and it's beautiful pink. But we know that we have our vigorous growing unanimous Manhattan shrubs. And so today we're going to be working on cleaning these up. If you remember, we really want to focus on our hydrangeas being the star of the show. And so while they're not blooming yet, it's a perfect opportunity to get things nice and tidy. And then that way they will be set for the summer. So what we're going to be doing today is maintaining our shrubs with a bit of pruning. We'll shape them up nice and tight in the front of the house. Also, on the other side, still in the front, we have a beautiful, gorgeous mint julep juniper pom pom tree. But right now, it's not really looking like much of a pom pom tree. And so, a lot of pruning needs to be done on that side. We'll take you through that, what it looks like, what type of tools we use. I'm very excited because we're going to be exploring with a different tool. It is a handheld edger trimmer, and we'll see if we like that. I typically do a lot of hand cutting, but as our shrubs continue to grow, the hands cannot always maintain it alone. So we're going to bring in some help from our tools and see how we like that. Lamar and I here at Aldebrass, we really do like more of a natural look, not too much formal, not too much formality with our gardening. However, we'll see what we come up with. We're also going to look a little bit closely at what is eating our leaves. I think I have found the culprit, so we'll see if we can find some of those little sneaky friends that are in our garden and how we plan on addressing that. And if we have enough time, we'll look at the containers up on the front porch and see what we can do with that. Remember, we moved a lot of smaller flowers, a few of the dianthus. We want to try to get those either back in the ground or in some wonderful containers and kind of make more of a pink explosion, as we are favorably calling it, for our summer 2025 look. Quick check-in, everybody. We have finished pruning the unanimous, and now we are moving to our ligustrum, what we are hoping to be our ligustrum topiaries. So why am I saying that? Well, because these are actually shrubs that we have planted, and when we notice their trunk shape, the natural growth, we realized that we might have an opportunity to trim them up and make kind of a lollipop topiary for our two main planters heading into the front of our house. So we have already, as you see, limbed it up. If you come in close, Lamar, you can kind of see some of the nods where we made some significant cuts. We have at this point limbed it up to be two main trunks, and we'll see how the growth habits work. Again, we don't want to disrupt it too much. We do like the organic nature, but this is going to be that happy balance if we get it right. This will actually be the second prune of the season, and this is not going to be a hard prune. What we are really aiming to do with this cut or this trim is to shape it, give it a nice haircut, and we have to be a little brave because this is a bit of trial and error. Again, this is a shrub. It does not know yet that it's going to be a beautiful lollipop tree. So, few snips here and there on this one, and hopefully if we get everything correctly, we will have a nice symmetry happening, at least with the overall shape and size of the two trees. And so we will work on this. And then if you walk with me, you guys, I love this tree. First of all, junipers are one of my favorites. And so this is, although it's kind of hard to tell, a pom-pom tree. We purchased it. This is maybe about 3 years old now, and it is happy. It is thriving. We kind of let it go a bit because we really wanted to see how well it was just doing without the pruning, get some really good thick, dense foliage on these limbs. And as you can see, the new growth has come out. We've given it about all spring. And so we're okay. We're at a good point where we feel like we can start cutting it. It's starting to get leggy, and that's not the look we're going for. So we'll trim this up and then we'll check back in and show you how we did. give you a quick update on the front porch area of our house. We're looking really at the garden beds for today. So if you remember, we were talking about doing some trimming, some pruning, and one of the things we were going to prune, and we kind of gave you a couple of or walk through, was our mint julep juniper. So this is the finished product, and we couldn't be more thrilled about it. So again, this is the mint julep juniper, and it was naturally it doesn't naturally come in this shape. It was pruned and shaped to be a pom-pom tree, and we are trying to continue that shape as much as possible. And so a little bit formal. Sometimes you see these trees mid-century, but it really does work in different areas. So sometimes you don't have to feel like you have to have a mid-century modern look in order to incorporate specimens such as this. It has a beautiful fragrance. It's year-round because it is a conifer. Very tolerant of our zone, which is, we're in Virginia, 7B. So it can get very hot. Our temperatures can get very low in the wintertime. We've had a lot of snow, a lot of ice, and this pom-pom is still thriving. So what we did was really took a couple of different tools. We took the battery operated shearer, and we used the razor settings for it to kind of help us take off a lot at one time. We also came back through it with some hand pruners, hand shears, and anything from kind of bunching it together to get rid of some of the larger growth, and then coming in and doing some specific trimming to keep that really mounding shape. So looking really good. We have a couple of tiers in here, and it's thriving. So if you notice, you might see some browning. That's normal. We gave it a hard prune, and we had a lot of water. We had a lot of shade, and then we had some increased sun. So it is trying to figure out how to adjust to the weather, but it's going to be just fine. At the bottom of this planting, this vignette, as we could reference it, we have the Mugo pines. This is a dwarf variety, and so we did not do any pruning to that because it's still very low. It has more of an organic shape, and we like that juxtaposition because, again, this is not a mid-century modern home, and so we're not trying to make everything so precise. So having some organic shape is really going to help us achieve that. We also have a variation of the Purple Queen. I favorably call it Purple Queen, and we'll tag the more formal name at the bottom of your screen. But this beautiful plant will thrive. We only planted two. It's brand new to this area, but it has a beautiful variegated leaf with the pinks, that nice green and some purple coming through it. And this will spread. Has a bit of a little damage from all of the leaves and the wind and the rain, but it's no problem. They can handle it. This is a very aggressive plant, so we will be watching it because it likes to spread, and we do not want it to spread into the garden bed. But this is, for the most part, done for the summer, so we might refresh the mulch when we get about maybe mid-July. Keep it watered, and it will do perfectly fine. It's kind of self-sustaining, and we like that. All right, so now we're going to go over to the front of the house. So as I mentioned before, that was a version of Purple Queen. This is the actual Purple Queen. This is the stunner, and so it is going to continue to grow. As we get closer or further deeper into the summer, you will start to see that it's going to have some purple blooms, but really nice, thick, deep purple leaves. Doesn't take a lot of maintenance. You just have to check in there every once in a while to weed it, but it does absolutely fine on its own. There's no drip in this, so it's only working off of the water that nature provides, and sometimes we'll come in and we'll water it a little bit, but really low maintenance. Thriller. It's exciting. We pruned up our ligustrum lollipop trees. If you remember, these are shrubs that we are actually kind of shaping it to be a topiary. And it's really working out well. We have some beautiful branching, so that's going to be a nice base for the trunk. And again, we use those same razor shears to kind of help us shape this to that lollipop shape. Again, not perfectly formal, but we have the organic shape is what we're looking for. And of course, our winners of the season, our proven winners, Super Tuna Vista bubblegum. This pink is just popping. So we're very happy with that. And this is where sometimes you have to play, right? So while we like our organic shape, sometimes we have the opportunity to bring in more of a formal look. And for our front entry, we do have that. So we are flanking with the two pots that are symmetrical, not only in their shape and their placement, but also with the planting. So we went ahead, we have our ligustrum lollipop topiaries, we have our supertunia, we have our creeping Jenny on both sides, and you might see some euphoria start to pick out. I don't know. We might have to move the diamond frost euphoria because the supertunia just wants to enjoy living and spread out and take up all the space. So we might move that to a different place a little later. We'll see. Moving further down, we added in some salmon geranium. I have to find out what the actual name of this particular variety is, but they are so happy. We were a little worried about it because their growth was stunted for a bit, and sometimes you just have to remember to be patient. If they are not happy, they'll let you know. But if they're green and they're looking healthy and they're standing tall, leave them be. That's what we did, and they are actually now starting to spread. They have their blooms, their leaves are getting taller. So I think that's going to be a great pop of not only just color,
But
adding and connecting.
some height as well.
Yeah, some height as well. And if you look at these leaves, I mean, that shape alone is just going to give you just a little bit of interest in the garden, just to keep it from looking too monotonous. We switched out and added a nice drift of the Supertunia Vista bubblegum. And so that's going to come in. They've already started to spread. They're going to spread a little bit slower than what you see in the pots because they have to get used to being in the ground. But I bet you in about a couple of weeks, 1 or 2 weeks, they are going to cover all of this area and it's just going to be thrilling.
Yeah, I think they're really going to take off.
Our lamb's ear still doing well. If it looks, they might look a little disheveled, but we had over 5 inches of rain, guys, this past week. So everybody's trying to get their footing. That was our first major soaker, I would say, of this spring to have consistent rain coming in that amount. I'm just really thrilled that everybody has survived it. They're filling out what they need to do. Our poor dahlias, that was a lot of rain for them and for their petals. And so we'll probably have to go back through here and deadhead. Again, for dahlias, they are cut flowers. And so when you are going to add them to your garden, you have to keep that in mind. If you love everything to look super pristine, you have to stay on top of them. You have to do a lot of deadheading. But sometimes we understand that the blooms will fade, and that's okay. We're still have an organic kind of feel with this. And so we'll come through and clean that up as much as we need to, but we're not too concerned about it. Our dianthus are same way. They're starting to bloom again. We have another version as well, a salmon version that we're trying to consider if that's going to work here, because in this little space right there, we have a sprinkler head. And so we want to make sure that anything that's put there, if we put anything there, can actually handle the water, which is also something we have to contemplate with our dahlias. When they get taller, it'll be fine. Like you can see this one right here already. We did a major deadheading and the blooms will be there. You see all these little buds. It's filled with buds. And so that's nice. I have a feeling we have some slug friends coming through, so we'll address that issue. That's where you're seeing all the little
That's crazy.
eating of the leaves. So they're enjoying it as well, but we're going to have to tell them to go someplace else. So we'll get that. But if you notice, this is the same variety of dahlia, and we have some things going on with this one. You see the leaves This one is struggling. So we're going to have to figure out what's happening. I actually thought that this one would do better because it is behind the sprinkler. So I don't know, it
I
might
think
not be
it's getting a
happy.
lot of water though, because there's another sprinkler that's hitting that one as well. So I think it may be getting too much direct water
Yeah.
on
So
it.
those are sometimes some of the things you have to think about and be okay with. You tried it, it didn't work. You can move it. It's not too late to move this plant. It's not dead by any means. And so we might dig it up and consider something else. I'm not too concerned about this section because all of these lime lights are about to start budding and then they will bloom. And that's really going to be the major interest throughout the summer. And so you can see they've picked up a lot of height since we started. And so I just can't wait for the buds to get here. It's still a little early for our zone, but they will be coming. Oh, look, right here. Beep. Our first little flower bud. And this one is our true limelight. The ones that are directly in the front of the house are limelight prime, so they won't get as big. But there you go. Signs of summer. And so we're really excited to continue to watch and see if our vision comes to fruition. But I think we are well on our way. Again, this is going to be a pink explosion. And so on the next time we come to you, we'll take a closer look at what's going on the front patio, closer to the front entry. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've learned with us and can't wait to check back in. I'm Tara.
And I'm Lamar.
And this is All the Brass. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.